Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Sometimes life just hands you stuff that's not fun, challenging.
Yeah.
If it hasn't happened, it's going to happen. Like that. I just lost my camera. I don't know where it went. It's bizarre. But how do you move forward with those major things that happen to you? It's called resilience. And we're going to talk about that today, how to find within the strength to continue when you're dealing with those situations. And she's going to help us out with that. She's an international best-selling author. She's a speaker, heart-based energy intuitive. She's a Reiki master, heart math coach, life coach, crystal practitioner, on and on and on. But she also has a lot of resilience, and she's back with us. Becki Koon is here. Hey, Becki, how's everything going?
Wow, it's been a crazy week. Crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot of big life stuff. Navigating it and being, tapping into my own level of resilience with what's going on this week for me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're traveling, got some, family things going on, some really good stuff, then some a little bit of challenging stuff here and there. But you're moving forward. And I know that you've had some challenges in life.
Yes.
In our conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And you've displayed a lot of resilience. I want to ask you, before we even get into this way deeper.
Okay.
Did you know you had it in you when you were confronted with some major stuff?
I didn't know that I had it to the degree. Like I knew that I was always, I was able to bounce back pretty well with most things. And just, I think it's a natural part of my personality. I'm an Aries. I'm kind of always been a go-getter. But I didn't know the depths that I was able to go, or the depths of resilience that I was able to tap into when life threw huge challenge my way.
Yeah.
I think it seems like with the people that I work with, Steve, we all have a level of resilience that we maybe don't recognize, or we're not sure that we're up for the task sometimes. And yet I'm here to tell you, we do have it in us if we learn how to tap in, if we recognize there's always something greater than ourselves at play and helping us and working with us. And humans, we're way stronger than we have any idea.
I believe that to be true. And if I went back 3 years from this point, I would never imagine myself where I am and the things that I've done and how I've, keep pushing through. And people have said, even in my journeys, like, how do you even do that? How's that? How are you doing it? I'm like, I don't know. There's only one direction to go in, and that's forward. Just keep going. Like Finding Nemo, Dory, just keep swimming.
Yeah.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep going. Well, for example, so this week, I was in Cancun last week when we chatted. And so I was on vacation with my family, spent an entire 20 hours in airports on Tuesday. 3 connectors, going through customs, all the things that go along with being in an airport and then waiting, and then being in line and then waiting and dealing with mass amounts of people, right? All of that for 20 hours to get home. I get home and then I drive the next day to another location from Idaho to Montana, right? So there was a full day of driving. Pick my daughter up at the airport at midnight that night. Then we get up 2 hours later and drive to another town so she could have surgery. And as we're driving and getting to the place where she's having surgery, my tire goes low. And I wake up so she had surgery, by the way. It all went great. It was massive reconstructive surgery, but she's good.
Wow.
And I wake up this morning and my tire's completely flat. So okay. So how do you navigate when life throws you these curveballs. So I'm like, okay, I have AAA. Let's call AAA. Talk to a tire place. I can, they set me up to get scheduled to go get my tires. So the AAA guy comes, we get the tire, inflated. I go to AAA, I replace, get the tire fixed and go see my daughter for a minute. She's doing great. And so come back, and hang out with you. And it's like life continues to happen. And how do we do it? How do we navigate when those moments of, discord or challenge come our way? And it's resilience. How resilient can you be when stuff happens? Can you step back? Can you take a moment? Can you breathe into it? Can you recognize that this too shall pass, that you have it in you to navigate those moments?
I mean, it is a cliche. I'm sorry, keep going.
Well, and so I need to tell you, I may end up with my battery's low, so we may end up getting cut off. So I'm giving you the heads up.
You know what? We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. This too shall pass. Always used to hear it's the kind of thing your mom tells you. And it's true. You'll get through it. It'll pass. But in your week here, of all this crazy travel, tire, all of this, do you reframe it in your mind and make it look more like, oh, this is an adventure. We're on an adventure right now. Part of it includes surgery. But do you reframe to increase resilience?
Yeah, absolutely. When I'm standing in line at customs and there's like so many people trying to get through and we're all waiting. And instead of getting frustrated, I was, looking at people, I was smiling. I mean, we're all in line. It's not going to go any quicker if we get frustrated. So finding a way to find those small moments of appreciation. And there was a little boy in line and his mom was saying, it's just like being in a hamster cage. We just have to go around the, around the thing. And I said, and so I said to the little boy, I'm like, yeah, it's being in a hamster cage with a lot of other hamsters.
Yeah. But you're going to get through customs.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were sitting there wondering, well, I hope my passport's good. I hope there are people that worry about this kind of stuff. What if I don't get through? What if they don't let me back into the United States? What if reasonably, most of us feel, we got this. We just got to go through it. What does that mean? Waiting online to go through the customs to get to the other side. But when it's those deeper situations, I'll tell you, and music is kind of my thing. I played it on the radio since I was, a kid, literally. And songs drop in my head. And Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down.
Oh, I love that song.
Does it for me.
Yeah.
I'll go to the gym and I'll put it on repeat. And it's like 2 minutes and 30 seconds long. And I'll just play it again, play it again, play it again. If you listen to the lyrics, you stand me up at the gates of hell. I won't back down. I'm just not gonna, no matter what it is, whether somebody's challenging you, whether, it's a financial challenge, whatever it might be. I use those little things to kind of move me. It's almost like, hitting turbo boost. It's like, I need a little something and kind of push it forward.
Well, and again, it's finding those little tools and techniques that help support you in that resilience, right?
Yeah.
And finding that ability to move through those. And that's a great tool. Music's a beautiful tool for all of us. It's very powerful.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. May I share some lyrics with you?
Absolutely.
This song is freaking awesome. And I don't know if people remember it. It came out in the 80s. I want to say like 83, somewhere around there. It was like top 5 hit, maybe top 10. It's by Big Country, and it's called In a Big Country. And it was a Scottish band. And you have, what sounds like bagpipes in the background, but it rocks out. And this line here, or this section. So take that look out of here. It doesn't fit you. Because it's happened doesn't mean you've been discarded. Pull up your head off the floor, come out screaming. And in the
Yeah.
song, there's different sections where they're come out screaming, cry out for everything you ever might have wanted. I thought that pain and truth were things that really mattered, but you can't stay here with every single hope you had shattered.
Yeah.
Come out screaming.
Yeah.
Sadly, this song has given a lot of people a lot of inspiration. The lead singer took his life in 2001.
Wow. Wow.
And he was, people knew him for even in the song it says here, in a big country, dreams stay with you like a lover's voice fires the mountainside. Stay alive. He didn't stay
Yeah.
alive.
Right.
Sad.
Right.
But
Right.
you know,
Well,
I listened to that one at the gym 5 times today.
good. Good. Well,
Good song.
like I said, music's very, very powerful, and it can help us. Not only do we listen to it auditorily, but we feel it in ourselves, and it energetically we feel it. It's vibration and frequency, and it does help.
Yeah. And you got to think of it this way, that when it was written, there was a certain energy.
Yes. Yes.
When it was recorded, when the vocals were laid
Yes.
in, the people that were behind it were sending a certain energy our way. And there's a mazillion songs out there.
Yeah.
Only certain ones resonate, and they do for certain reasons. And I do believe it's the energy put in. And I do believe the guy that sang that song, the leader of the group Big Country, that's what his intention. He was hurting.
Yes.
But I think he was, I want to help others.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad it didn't help him, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's impacted the world.
He did.
In a way. Yeah.
Yeah. With his energy.
With his energy. Yeah.
What are some other things that we can do to boost our resilience and get through, like power through when there's a challenge in front of you?
I think, part of it is, again, bringing yourself back to body. I'm always going to, every time you say something, you ask me a question, I'm going to bring people back to their body. Can you stay in your body? Can you breathe into this body that's here experiencing, what's happening, experiencing life, and just taking a nice deep breath and centering, just kind of center yourself to the best of your ability. I mean, everybody can do that. You can be standing in line, frustrated. Sure. Okay, I just need to take a breath and come back into the body, and then experience and try to reel in being in the now moment instead of projection or instead of past, right? We talk a lot about that, about really trying to maintain present moment awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Present moment, typically everything is okay. You're breathing air. You're here. You're experiencing life. And we always have choice. We always have the ability to take the next step forward, whatever that means. And they may be hard choices we have to do. There may be things that we have to experience that aren't comfortable, but we're breathing air. And as long as we're breathing air and we're in this body, we have opportunity. And so, trying to reel yourself in, get embodied, be present in the moment, and recognize that there is a higher aspect to you that is has a greater wisdom. Can you tap into a greater wisdom than the present moment? What does that wisdom say to you? And then, of course, there's a lot of tools along the way to help you build that muscle to remember. So meditation, energy healing work, listening to music, taking those moments in nature or with someone you love and care for, all of those kinds of things. Church, your spiritual connection, and really nurturing all of those things continue to support you as you build that muscle of resilience.
Let's say you're in a moment, you're having a moment.
Okay.
And you got to tap that resilience, and you got it in you, but it's challenging. Mm-hmm. And let's call it the resilience reset with the breathing, just being present. I'm good. I'm breathing. I'm focusing now. We're in a better place at this moment. How do you get the internal wisdom? How do you tap into, like, I need an answer. And I'm not really sure if it's this or that. What do I do? How do you tap into the intuition?
So breathing into your heart space and recognizing that this space right here, this emotional center, is the seat of the soul, and that there's more than just your physical body. There is a beautiful soul within. But you have to be somebody who recognizes that there's something more than this physicality. So breathing into that awareness and then asking the question. We have to ask. It's like sometimes we'll have inspired thought come in. Even when we just like take a breath, all of a sudden you'll have something drop in that'll be an inspired thought that will say, oh, that's the answer I need to address this right now. Right. But more often than not, it's just being present with it and saying, okay, higher self, God, Jesus, whoever it is you connect with, help me in this moment to understand and recognize. Because it's tapping into that higher awareness and that higher sense, and then using your intuitive thought. Just give yourself a moment and just see, is there a word that comes to you? Is there an image that comes to you? Okay, I've asked my higher awareness. I'm breathing. I'm in my body. I'm breathing from this heart space. I'm asking, what can you share with me? And then just paying attention and see what comes. And sometimes maybe something doesn't come for a while. It may be, you'll get an answer, or you'll have an awareness later on, or you'll have a synchronistic moment. Like you may turn around, you may ask that question, you may turn around and you may see 4:44 on the clock and go, oh, wow. Okay. That was an answer. Spirit's listening. There is a solution, right? There is an awareness. So it takes a lot of faith though, Steve. It takes a lot of that internal trust.
I feel a lot of us may ask for the answer, but we're not in a position to hear it or receive it. And
yeah,
just what you said about your heart space and just that awareness of being there helps you receive it.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one to not practice that. I'll be driving and like, and I throw out to my mom, whoever it might be. By the way, I never knew you were an Aries. My mom's an Aries. Or was.
Oh, yeah.
And my daughter too.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. But I'll ask for the answer, and I'll get them sometimes. However, I'm not doing what you said. And just like it's almost like putting yourself on top of the mountain so that your antenna can receive further because you're up so high.
Right.
By getting into your heart space and just getting into that spot where you can receive whatever you're supposed to be receiving at that moment. And if you don't do that, it's like you're trying to listen to this radio station and you're down in a valley and you're not getting a signal because the valley is too much of the stuff going on around you in your head.
Static, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Static. And so, well, it's because you're bypassing the thinking mind. When you get embodied, when you get into that heart space, you're allowing the thinking mind to take a back seat for just a moment, because the thinking mind is what gets us trapped up. We're like, the thinking mind is trying to take care of us.
Yeah.
It's trying to help us, but the thinking mind will do the loops. The thinking mind will say, well, this is what happened in the past. And oh my gosh, what's going to happen here? And then it'll try to predict future. And it's always usually typically negative, for the most part. We're keyed into safety, we're keyed into what do I need to do to keep myself safe. But when you get into the heart space, that's where inspired awareness and thought comes. So that you end up connecting to spirit, yourself, Jesus, God, source, whatever that is. And that's where that can come in, not being filtered through the thinking mind, but all of a sudden you'll have, oh my gosh, a thought will come through, or like I said, a synchronicity, or a moment where, somebody will smile at you and all of a sudden it lifts the energy. And you're like, wow, I really needed that. That was part of what you needed. So yes, the static of the mind kind of gets filtered.
Yeah.
And you hone in.
And the static can also be your environment. You're at work, you're driving, you're focusing on traffic, but you're still trying to receive the message
Mhm.
or the answer to your question. And you can't. You need to, would you say what you described before in terms of the breath work, getting into your heart space, all of that, is that kind of like meditating?
It is, but you can do it always. I
Yeah.
mean, Steve, we have to breathe, right? I mean, it is what we do every moment we're here. And so we have to breathe anyway. So why not do the breath very consciously, like really focusing on taking that breath into the heart and saying, okay, I have to breathe. How about we breathe awareness into me? How about we breathe that moment? Because I'm still driving, I'm still aware, but I'm also a part of you is also aware that, oh, the breath. Okay, I'll just breathe into my heart space. You can do that in any moment. I mean, that's why they teach emergency people, how to do heart focused breathing. And they're teaching people in the
Wow.
service to do heart focused breathing, because in moments of great intensity, you can focus your energy onto the heart breath, and you can still deal with what you have to deal with, but you're actually going to be clearer thinking. Your thought processes are not going to be clouded with the cortisol releases that happen when you get into fear. So
Just what you said about that they teach, medical professionals, emergency professionals, this.
yeah.
Let's talk about it again. We have like a couple of minutes.
Huh.
Just how you described it before. Yeah, we can do breath work. I got that. But how do you focus on the heart? How do you put that breath there?
You just imagine. You just imagine for a moment the breath is coming into the heart. So you just take a breath and you just picture that breath moving into your heart space. Like the heart is actually what's breathing you.
Like your lungs. Picture it,
Yeah.
that's your lungs.
Yeah, exactly. Just imagine. Just use that imagination. Just feel the chest rising and falling. Imagining that the breath is coming into that heart space, that chakra center, right? And that alone can begin to shift the autonomic nervous system. It's the vagal response, the nervous system response. That alone begins to shift it. They've done so many studies, Steve, that show, that actually takes place. That happens when you get in coherence, which is a heart-focused breathing technique that's taught. And and like I said, and it can be in an emergency moment. If you're like a police officer and you're responding to something that is very, very intense, all you have to do is just, you just breathe as if the heart's breathing, as if the chest was breathing. Take a moment, and it can be like a minute, even less. You just focus the breath differently. Breathe in, and you can have a clearer thought.
Is it as simple as just a few breaths?
Yeah, Steve, it can be. That's the part we make it so much more complicated than it is. And that's where resilience comes in. You can find resilience in any situation, in any moment, just by getting present and remembering to breathe. And if you're imagining that breath is coming from this space, then that's a huge key to allowing your body to reset. And it's simple. It can be so simple.
And therein lies the logic and the mind. That can't work. It's just you're breathing. Come on, I got major problems over here, and you're telling me to breathe. Becki, what is wrong with you? How's that even going to work? But it does.
Yeah.
And it's been proven, even on the simplistic scale of just breathing, taking 3 deep breaths, not even centering on the heart breathing.
Yes,
is a reset in itself to take you out of crazy moments. It's we just minimize that kind of stuff. We don't realize how important it is.
We don't realize how important it is because you know what? We get caught up in life. We get caught up in the busyness of what we're doing. We get caught up in, oh my gosh, my tire's going flat. What do I need to do?
Right.
I'm on the freeway. Dang, right. So,
back in the day, stuff like that would rattle me. Seriously, it'd be like, what am I going to do? Like now, I'm like,
yeah,
whatever. It's there's bigger stuff to worry about. I mean, I took a trip like 3 weeks ago, went to the bank, walked outside, go to start my car, didn't start. I'm leaving on a plane in 3 hours. Like,
right.
Called a friend. He gave some suggestions, ultimately had the car towed to his place. And, it got resolved. It was a little expensive, but what am I going to do? I can't do anything about it,
Bad solution, right? It
Yeah.
worked out.
I Ubered home and, had my son pick me up and it all worked out. But even, the
even
resilient
in the tough stuff, though, even in the tough stuff, Steve, we can find moments of connection. Yeah.
I think the exciting part is in those moments to recognize that you have a challenge, you're going to overcome it, and how cool it's going to feel when you do overcome it. And also the feeling of, I know I am. It's going to be fine.
Yes. Yes.
I call it the quiet calm. It's going to be, we're going to be all right. This is not me though. If, again, 3-4 years ago, not me. Yeah. I would be, worried about stuff, thinking about things, whatever.
Yeah.
But took some time to figure that out.
Sure.
How do we find you, Becki, if we want to try and figure out some more of this stuff?
You find me on my website, BeckiKoon.com, BeckiKoon.com.
Yeah. So guess what? Your battery didn't go down on your device.
It didn't.
Right. We didn't lose internet connection.
I got 2%.
We thought we would. It all worked out. Everything's, and you'll have a new tire in a few hours and your daughter's okay. And that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Drive safe on your way back.
Yeah. Thank you,
and,
Steve.
We'll talk soon again.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.